Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are going to challenge a cultural default that's been drilled into almost all of us, literally from day one. I'm talking about the relentless pursuit of endless wealth accumulation. We're going to dive into a highly provocative, totally paradigm-shifting framework developed by Bill Perkins. It's going to ask us to completely rethink the way we value our time, our money, and, well, our experiences. Let's get right into it.
So, we've all heard Aesop's classic fable of the ant and the grasshopper, right? The industrious ant works all summer storing food, while the carefree grasshopper just plays around. Winter comes, and, as we know, the grasshopper starves. It's a great little moral about hard work. But ask yourself this: when does the ant ever actually get to play? Seriously, what is the fate of the endlessly saving ant if he just slaves away his entire short life? And that right there highlights the real issue we're looking at. On one side, the ant represents delayed gratification pushed to such an absolute extreme that it actually results in no gratification, zero. On the flip side, the grasshopper represents pure myopia, living only for today with absolutely no savings for tomorrow. We desperately need a deliberate middle ground here. We shouldn't squander everything today, obviously, but we also can't spend our entire lives saving for a winter that might never come and end up completely missing the summer of our lives.
Which brings us perfectly to the core source material we're exploring today. It's a book called Die with Zero. Rather than your standard, run-of-the-mill financial advice, this approach treats life like a mathematical optimization problem. It is quite literally a blueprint for maximizing your life's fulfillment and totally minimizing waste.
Okay, let's dive straight into Section 1, Money equals Life Energy.
Let's talk about something called consumption smoothing. Basically, this is the economic theory of evening out your spending across your entire life, rather than starving your younger self just to enrich an already wealthy older self. Perkins actually learned this the hard way. When he was an $18,000 a year screen clerk in New York, he proudly told his boss he had managed to hoard $1,000. You know what happened? His boss bluntly called him an idiot. Why? Because Perkins was taking money away from his starving young self to give to his future, much wealthier self, instead of just enjoying it when he needed it most.
That wake-up call eventually led him to a really profound realization. You're taking my life energy and you're giving me paper. Inspired by the classic personal finance book, Your Money or Your Life, he realized that money isn't just currency, it literally represents the finite hours of your life energy spent earning it. Think about it. When you buy a nice-looking shirt, you aren't just spending dollars, you are spending actual hours of your life energy that you can never, ever get back.
And this case study reveals the absolute tragedy of oversaving. Take a look at that number, 6,646. Let's say a hypothetical worker named Elizabeth retires and eventually passes away with $130,000 left over in her bank account. Well, if you divide that by her hourly take-home pay, it means she literally worked 6,646 hours for absolutely free. That's over 2.5 years of 50-hour work weeks where she traded her precious life energy for paper she never even used. Crazy, right? So, to avoid this tragic waste, we have to shift our perspective. Let's move right into Section 2, the Memory Dividend. We can actually quantify the enjoyment we get from our experiences, almost like racking up points in a video game. Over a 7-year period, different experiences, maybe it's a vacation in Europe or a romantic weekend away, they yield different amounts of base experience points.
But here's where it gets really fascinating. Experiences don't just give you points in the moment. Every single time you recall, share, or relive an experience with friends, you earn what's called a memory dividend. And these dividends actually stack up on top of the original event. Over the years, the ongoing memory dividends from a single amazing trip can actually add up to way more fulfillment than the original experience itself.
Which brings us to a massive golden rule here. Start early, start early, start early. Memories compound just like financial interest does. If you invest in experiences early, like say a young person borrowing a bit of money to backpack through Europe in their 20s, that investment pays a massive compounding memory dividend throughout the rest of their entire life. Ultimately, when you're too old to go on those wild adventures, you're going to retire on your memories, not just your money.
So we really need to change how we evaluate our spending. Instead of just looking at return on equity, which, is how you'd evaluate a piece of real estate or a stock, we need to start calculating our return on experience. We've got to stop viewing every dollar spent as a missed financial investment and start asking, hey, how much personal joy, connection, and memory building is this expense actually going to yield over my lifetime?
So how do we make sure we don't leave all this potential on the table? Let's get into Section 3, Why Die with Zero?
Look, even if you absolutely love your job and you feel like your work is literally play, failing to spend the money you earn is a huge waste. It's like earning an extra life in Super Mario and just throwing it away. You just let Mario jump off a bridge instead of using that extra life. The source of your money doesn't change the fact that it represents your life energy, and failing to convert it into experiences, well, that's just throwing away your potential.
And by the way, this isn't just some quirky philosophical idea. It is grounded in Nobel Prize-winning economics. The life cycle hypothesis by Franco Modigliani proved decades ago that rational people will draw down their wealth to zero by the date of their death to maximize their lifetime utility. So mathematically speaking, to get the absolute maximum enjoyment out of your resources, your wealth literally must decline to zero by your expiration date.
But then, look at this data from the Federal Reserve Board. Our society is completely stuck on autopilot. You'd think people would start drawing down their wealth as they retire, right? Nope. Wrong. People are so incredibly terrified of running out of money that their net worth actually peaks at age 75 and older, reaching nearly $265,000.
And this leads us to the true danger we face. Squandering your life energy is a much, much greater worry than squandering your money. Think about it. By the time you're 75, your physical ability to convert that saved wealth into peak experiences is drastically diminished. I mean, what good is wealth without health? All that extra saving in your older years just becomes a total waste of your younger self's time and energy.
So how do we fix this? Well, here are 3 steps. Step 1, step off cultural autopilot. Step 2, actively design your life's timeline. And step 3, exchange your life energy deliberately. We absolutely must break free from the inertia of endless accumulation. This means questioning those routine, mindless trade-offs, like that daily latte factor, and deciding if that money could buy a life-changing trip instead. You need to intentionally time bucket your experiences, taking those trips and having those adventures while you still have the health to actually enjoy them. Let's wrap up with this absolutely crucial question. Take a hard, honest look at your own autopilot habits and ask yourself, are you maximizing your life, or are you just maximizing your bank account? Are you truly building a life rich in memories, or are you just working for free? Let that sink in as you think about how you'll deliberately spend your time and your life energy starting today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.